I might be inclined to do some research on this, but I actually believe that The Shining may be Stanley Kubrick's most popular film. While 2001: A Space Odyssey is considered his masterpiece, I think more people have actually seen this. That's accounting for people who don't usually watch movies. I find that people who aren't even familiar with Kubrick, those who haven't seen 2001, or A Clockwork Orange, or Strangelove, or Spartacus, or Full Metal Jacket, have at least at some point seen this. This is the populist Kubrick film. I don't know, people just seem to find something tasty about this movie, but I dare them to illustrate why. When you break it down, and believe me, a lot of people have, it's not a movie that succeeds in logic. Bending The Shining to a logical standard, it makes no sense. There are a lot of empty spaces in this plot, but you have to pull it together from personal interpretation, or from the few parts of Stephen King's book that Kubrick bothered to adapt. What is on screen tends to defy any measure of logic. From that, the movie almost refuses to make sense. The plot is pretty bare bones. A man and his family are holed up in a ski hotel for the winter months, and the father goes berserk. The rest you have to interpret for yourself. What is happening here? Why does Jack lose his marbles so quickly? The place is haunted, but by what? And for what reason? What did the ghost want Jack to do? Who is this guy? Who's that guy? Who are these people? What's going on here? Heck, the ending doesn't make much sense. It's like Kubrick set in motion a series of puzzles with no answers. Not even attempts at answers. You're left to figure it out on your own. Fill in the gaps. Even the available information about the famous lost ending of the movie, in which Mr. Ullman gives Danny the tennis ball that Jack was throwing around, doesn't help. As it goes, we know why Jack and Wendy and Danny are here, but you have to interpret it on your own. Something about alcoholism and domestic violence that has left Jack without a job. We know there's tension in the family. You can feel it when they're packed into that Volkswagen at the beginning. They never seem like a family even struggling to love each other. Jack is irritated and has a history full of violence and alcohol. Wendy is the good-natured doormat. And Danny is psychic, an ability that apparently fails him when he's being chased through that hedge maze. But the lack of explanation gives us a sense of being an outside observer. We want to believe that we're smart enough to surmise what's really going on. But Kubrick has constructed an unanswerable puzzle, peppered with moments that are so clever that we're willing to let them be. Think about it. Here's Johnny. What does that mean in the context of the scene? It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. But in the context of such a cracker box of unexplained ideas, we accept it. Same goes for the scene in which Wendy thumbs through page after page of meaningless repeats of the same sentence. Why is she scared by this? My wife would be furious that I'd spent weeks typing nothing when I should have been working. The Shining never feels like a typical horror movie. There are moments here that you wouldn't get in a typical genre piece. I love this moment when Jack stalks Wendy up the stairs. He's doing his typical crazy Jack thing, but there's a point when he just stops being crazy and gets annoyed. But I don't want to sound like I'm knocking the film. Those gaps in logic drew mixed reviews from critics in 1980, but the movie never wavered with the public. Certainly not with me. I think the fractured nature is part of its effect. Ghost stories, by their very nature, aren't supposed to make sense. They're free from the natural world and exist on, to quote Poltergeist, another side of nature that you and I aren't qualified to understand. Kubrick wasn't the master of explaining things, only showing you things. But he made a film so undeniable in tone and mood and sound, with a fury that seems round rather than taking place in a logical space. He once said, "The feeling of the experience is the important thing, not the ability to verbalize it or analyze it." Words of wisdom, Stanley. Words of wisdom. For Armchair Cinema, I'm Jerry Dean Roberts, and these are the movies that matter.
Larry, just between you and me, we got a very serious problem with the people who are taking care of the place. They turned out to be completely unreliable assholes.